PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the podcaster you may find me short of breath because I just did a chair adjustment. Now I'm under a set of 3/4 stairs in the climbing closet, which means that if I put my hands on my hips, my elbows are touching both walls. And I have a chair that is one of the few things, I didn't even realize this, but this chair has been here the whole history of the podcast. It was the least expensive office chair they sold at IKEA back in before somewhere around 2010. And I could say that my behind gets tired sitting on here, but I'm not here to rest. I'm here to put you to rest and help you fall asleep. Because it's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. Thanks for making it possible, patrons. And when your hand hits the fridge tomorrow or that coffee pot, remember, sleepwithmepodcast.com/sponsors. Those sponsors are how we're able to be here for you free twice a week. Please take a second and check them out. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it is time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Helix Sleep. It's the bed I am in every night as my Helix Dusk Lux, and it all started with that quiz, because I don't want a mattress made for everybody. I sleep on my side, I sleep on my stomach, I sleep hot. I need a mattress that cools me down, and I also do not want to go to a store and have somebody watching me and asking me if, after 30 seconds, how am I going to know the mattress fits my needs? I'll tell you how. You go to helixsleep.com/sleep. Helix has got a quiz, 2 minutes to complete, matches your body type and sleep preferences, finds you the perfect mattress so you don't have to buy a mattress made for somebody else. With Helix, you're getting a mattress will be perfect for the way you sleep, right? And everybody's unique. You know that. I know that. So does Helix. So that way they have several different mattress models to choose from. Soft, medium, firm. Mattress is great for cooling you down if you sleep hot, like I said. Great for spinal alignment to prevent morning aches and pains. Even a Helix Plus mattress for plus-size sleepers. So you're looking for a new mattress, right? You take the quiz, you order the mattress you're matched to, it comes straight to your door, shipped for free. You don't ever have to go to a mattress store again. Helix is awesome, but you don't have to take my word for it. Helix has been recommended by multiple leading chiropractors and doctors of sleep medicine as a go-to solution for improving sleep. Here's what you need to do. Go to helixsleep.com/sleep. Take the 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to a customized mattress that'll give you the best sleep of your life. They even have a 10-year warranty, so you get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. They'll even pick it up for you if you don't love it, but you will. Helix even has financing options and flexible payment plans, so a great night's sleep is never far away. And Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/sleep. That's helixsleep.com/sleep. And thanks, everybody. All right, everybody. Now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. There's plenty of ways to support a healthy brain. Learning a new language. I love doing that. I love my language app. Taking power naps. Oh boy, if I get a power nap in, it makes my day. But there's also BetterHelp online therapy. For me, I have a lot of different stuff I do to support my health. Meditation, journaling, but talk therapy is the cornerstone. With a licensed therapist, I do that every single week. Therapy improves my relationship with myself, with my thoughts, with my feelings, and with other people in my life. And I always recommend it. And I love recommending BetterHelp in my personal life to people, because BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat therapy sessions. So you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist right away in under 48 hours. And our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/sleep with me. That's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/sleep with me. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it is time for the Sleepy Supporter Zone. It's one part of the podcast I need you to hear. It's my favorite part of the show because it means that the show gets to come out free twice a week because of people like Grass who supported Headspace. Oh, boy, Grass said that Headspace was helping them get through the final season at school. And when I support somebody and I hear my name on another podcast, I got to tell you, I love it. So if you want to hear your name on Sleep With Me, there's a lot of free trials out there. Like Grass signed up for a free trial for Headspace. Sign up for it. Let the sponsor know about it. Let me know about it. And then fill out the form at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sponsors so I can thank you on the show. I can send you a thank you video because there would be no Sleep With Me without those you. So I really, really appreciate it. So thank you, Grass. The second part of the Sleepy Supporter Zone is you getting the support you need right now. If you're having an extra tough time, there's links to resources, including international resources you can connect with right now in the show notes. It's about being a part of positive change, being a part of communities with our actions, saying Black Lives Matter, saying stop AAPI hate, saying support Ukraine. So there's links to resources where you can learn more and take action in the show notes. And one of the actions we're taking as a community around the show, it's been so great interacting with listeners like Judy, Christiana, Cornelia, Stacy, who are all helping us build hygiene kits for people experiencing homelessness. You could join in for free, sleepwithmepodcast.com/midnight mission. Join us in our community effort to support other people. And Mystery Bart, a lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes too. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound or on the website. I am the Mystery Bart. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at jonathanmann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support, dear Scooter, on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Hannah like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. I'm at Dear Scooter on Twitter and Instagram. What do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing? Trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it the bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. And what I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake, whether it's thoughts, things you're thinking about, thoughts on your mind. So thoughts, past, present, future, indeterminate. I don't know, is that a word? Undetermined. My thoughts are determined to get my attention. I'll tell you that much. Talk about persistence of thought. I think that's a movie or a book or something. I say, holy cow! If I could be as persistent as my thoughts, I don't know. I guess I'd probably be. People would have no offense to my thoughts. I'm trying to love you. I do love you, but yeah, you're persistent. You're pesky. I would say you're pesky, like pesky in a way. If I could say pesky, persistent, you ponder stuff, preposterous sometimes. Many P words could describe my thoughts. You could be having feelings. So anything you're feeling emotionally coming up for you, anything you're feeling physically, so any feelings, physical sensations, changes in time or temperature or routine. So anything, any of those things coming up for you. Could be you could be traveling, someone could be coming in from out of town, you could have something coming up, anticipation. Participation. My thoughts want me to participate. You're right. Too many P words, that could be keeping you awake. Or you could be trying to get back to sleep after like you had too much pee and now you don't. That happens. Well, whatever it is that's keeping you awake, I'm here to take your mind off of that and keep you company so that you could fall asleep. This show's a little bit different because I don't really put you to sleep and you don't really, you kind of just barely listen to me. But what I'm going to do is I got a safe place here set aside, or I could send it to you, or you could look at it from afar. But what I like to do first is smooth it, pat it, rub it down, do a little magic motion with my hand as I step away and say safe place, maybe open my palms and do a thing with my fingers. Like, I don't know if you could sense that, but it's one of those things where your fingers, you open your palm and then your fingers do a little swirly thing. Probably not a swirly thing. I think the technical term is closing your fingers individually, one at a time, in a way with flourish. A flourish with a flourish of a fingers. Finger flourish, I guess, is technically what I did. Like a flourishing my fingers or a finger flourish. So, I'm gonna send my voice across the deep dark night. I'm gonna use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, superfluous tangents. All designed to keep you company and take your mind off of stuff so you can fall asleep. What it means is my voice is not traditionally soothing. And then I go off topic, as you've already seen. I get mixed up. I go back, pregnant pauses. My brain, unfortunately, does not. I have pregnant pauses when I'm trying to communicate. But when my thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations at bedtime, there's not, well, I guess there are pregnant pauses because they say, really, what are you going to do about that tomorrow? And then they say, really, what are you going to do about that tomorrow? Then there's a long pregnant, I'd say that's more of a poignant pause, or a pause that causes me, it causes feelings. So I'd say it has a poignancy for me. But so what was my point? I don't know. I didn't even mean to use point again. Oh, so I'm here to keep you company and take your mind off stuff so you could fall asleep. So there's a few different things that are, you have to get used to if you're new. And if you're a regular listener, hello, my regular listeners. How you doing? All pets everywhere, fishes, animal, mineral, vegetable, as I'm saying now. You know, some people had pet rocks. I don't know. That was a little bit before my time. Here's something that happened somewhere in the generations. People like before me, there was pet rocks. Then in different times, people get into rock tumbling. We got our first rock tumbler at a garage sale, so it didn't come with the grit. So we just used it as I think as a soothing thing. I just put it on the thing and watch it roll. Never had any grit. You know, they've said that about me more than once. And then they said I'm too gritty. So, but I didn't think about that. Like at one point, and then also another thing that gets popular, which I think is cool, is gluing rocks together, putting googly eyes on them, maybe painting rocks and stashing them. I don't know what that's called. I found it. I found one rock one time somewhere. I mean, of course, no, like a rock someone painted and left to be discovered. Sorry, critical brain. My brain just jumped to a conclusion. It said, the listeners don't understand what you're talking about. I said, what kind of? But it's not supposed to. Oh, if you're new, though. Sorry, I was talking about rocks. The rocks, I got plenty of them upstairs. I have pet rocks. There's rocks tumbling up there, and then there's rocks that have been left. I don't have a lot of painted rocks in my brain, but if you want to, you know, if I find one, I'll put it right up there. I mean, you know, metaphorically, don't worry. No actual rocks in my brain, kids. Except, you know, some part of my brain just scoffed at that. Rock-like material. Thank you for correcting me. So, but it also then my brain just said full of hot air. So my brain is composed, I guess, according to my brain is composed of rock-like material full of hot air and gas. Isn't hot air gas? How do we get on this? I'm trying to help a new listener realize this podcast is strange and different. Oh boy. Now, if you're new, it does take some getting used to. Like a lot of people, and when I say a lot, I mean million, have said it took 2 or 3 tries before I got used to the podcast. So give it a few tries at first, unless you really loathe me, which is totally fine. I have a website set up for that, sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. Because I do want you to find something to help you fall asleep, because I know how it feels. Like, I mean, I just talked about it, not looking forward to going to bed, having trouble, or last night I just slept not good. And I had something on my mind, and then I was having dreams about it, and then I was like, why am I, I was forlorn. Last night I was forlorn. But not in I didn't have an immediacy to my forlornness or forlornability. I think I was forlorning in my, in my pseudo sleep. Can you be, is forlorn a verb? Is forlorn a verb? I don't know. To forlorn. I mean, I've made it a hobby. You kidding me? Pastime, hobby, I got 10,000 hours of being forlorn. But don't want to brag, but I do I got a lot of forlorning going on the side. But so whatever's keeping you awake, if it's whatever it is, I and a lot of listeners, while we might not be experiencing the same thing you're dealing with, we know how it kind of feels. It can feel lonely and frustrating. But the other side of it is, we all know that are listening to the show that you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a place you can rest. You deserve a place you can relax and get comfortable and fall asleep. And we want that for you. I want it for you. I want you to have the rest you need so that your life is manageable and you can flourish. That gives me purpose. That gives my life meaning to help the people I can. Now, like I said, the show, give it a few tries, see how it goes, because it is very different. But if you've tried a lot of stuff to fall asleep, obviously you're going to be skeptical and doubtful. So just see how it goes. The show is mostly harmless, as I think Douglas Adams once said, or some sort of like gumball with a mouth or something. So that was a planetoid. Some part of my brain, I don't know if that was rocks or hot air. It said, I think that was a planetoid. Oh, thank you. So, okay, so that's more good. I got more good news. Not only is this show very different, it takes getting used to. It's a podcast you don't listen to. You just kind of barely pay attention, but you can listen. If you can't sleep, I'm here to keep you company, and I'm not really here to put you to sleep. I'm here to take your mind off stuff and make the deep, dark night less lonely. Even though you don't have to listen to me, you could. Because I'm here to be your boar friend, your boar bae, your boar sib, your boar cuz, your boar bestie, your boar burr, your neighbor, your boar bud, your boar friend here in the deep, dark night to keep you company. But you don't have to be, you could just drift off. I'll be here the whole time, though. And that's kind of what works about the show. You could listen to me, but you don't have to. You could fall asleep, but you don't need to. I'll keep you barely entertained until you do fall asleep. The other thing that throws new people off, or even regular listeners off sometimes, is the structure of the show. It is intentional. The show's structured in a very different way, but that way people start to adjust the show. But the show starts off with a greeting. Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So you feel seen, welcome, and you get the tone of the show is welcoming, but I'm a little bit odd. And it's okay to be odd. I celebrate. That's what I'm here to celebrate. I got, a Brock. I don't have a Brock-like brain. But Brock, I don't even know which Brock my brain got mixed up in. Brock's Candy or like Brock, B-R-O-C-K. So, and I said, isn't there some sort of hair stuff called Brex? So maybe my brain, so I'm different, and it's okay to be different. If you're different, you're struggling, I'm glad you're here. I hope we can help. So that's a greeting. Then there's support for the show, because the podcast, the goal is for it to come out twice a week for free on every podcast app. And that takes the resources of sponsors and the people that support the show. Then there's support for you. If you're having an extra tough time right now, there's links to resources you could connect with right now if you need extra help. And then there's support for the communities around the show and the communities we're a part of. Then, then there's the intro. And the intro is different than the support. The intro is like a 12 to 20-minute show within a show. Sometimes people, they don't like that, they kind of don't like the sponsor part or something, and then they kind of project that onto the intro. But the intro is a show within a show. And you could skip it. About 2% of listeners skip it. But it's really designed, one, to explain what the podcast is, for me to be myself in some sense. I mean, you've seen me be myself. So you can say, oh, okay, maybe I could be myself too. Maybe it's okay to be me and not be perfect, right? I don't know. I mean, I think that's a big part of the intro is me normalizing stuff, but it's also me talking in circles and not going anywhere, because an efficient person would be able to be themselves and explain what the podcast is in 2 or 3 minutes. But for a sleep podcast, the intro is also part of the wind down. So whether you're getting ready for bed, you're doing something relaxing, or you're in bed getting comfortable, or a few percentage of people are already asleep, which we're happy for them, kind of. Whatever it is, the intro is the wind down, the twilight part of the podcast, because it eases you into bedtime. This podcast does not work to just put you to sleep. Because, again, I've never seen that work for me, anything that's meant to just put me to sleep. So that's the intro. Then again, there's more sponsors between the intro and the story, because that's what makes it possible for the show to come out free twice a week. Then there'll be a story. Tonight will be a recap of Doctor Who episode 13, I think. If you've never seen Doctor Who, don't worry. It'll be very meandering. We'll be talking about Saxon and bird cages and Toblerone mostly. And it'll be, but if you're a Doctor Who fan, you say, are you sure you watched that episode? Handsome Jack, Martha, you know, the whole stuff I get mixed up about. So that's the intro. Oh, no, that's the story. Then there's thank yous at the end. So that's the structure of the show. That's why I make the show. I'm really glad you're here. I work really hard. I really yearn and I strive. I really hope I can help you fall asleep. Thanks again for coming by. And here's a couple of ways I'm able to do this for you for free twice a week. Sleep With Me is brought to you by Progressive. Have you tried the Name Your Price tool yet? It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. It's easy to start a quote, and you'll be able to find a rate that works for you. It's just one of the many ways you could save with Progressive. Get your quote today at Progressive.com and see why 4 out of 5 new auto customers recommend Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. All right, everybody, it is time to talk about our sponsor, Air Doctor. And I don't know about you, but those summer allergens, really, they give me the summertime blues, the runny nose, the sneezing. I don't got to worry about that because I got an Air Doctor. No kids, no pets. Nobody is bringing allergens into my home. You know, if you're worried about allergens, air pollution, or anything else in the air, you got to check out Air Doctor. You breathe over 20,000 breaths a day. Air Doctor filters out dangerous contaminants and allergens so your lungs don't have to. Air Doctor uses an ultra HEPA filter that's been independently tested to remove 99.9% of tested bacteria and viruses. And you know, allergens can vary in size, but the average pollen size is about 25 microns. The Air Doctor captures particles as small as 0.003 microns in size. That's 100 times smaller than even the HEPA standard. And the Air Doctor captures a wide range of pollutants, odors, gases, chemicals like formaldehyde, whether it's stinky gym clothes, chemical cleaning products. Air Doctor is always on call to keep your air fresh and clean. And the classic purifier is powerful enough to circulate the air in a 630 plus square foot room 4 times an hour. And if that doesn't get you, my parents got an Air Doctor. It's one of the main things my dad's been talking to me about is his Air Doctor. So it's good enough for me. It's good enough for my daughter, my siblings, my parents, and my dog Koa. You got to get yourself an Air Doctor. A professional quality HEPA air purifier is recommended by leading medical experts as an effective way to reduce seasonal allergies, airborne germs, and viruses and protect your home. Make sure you get an Air Doctor to keep you and your family safe. Air Doctor comes with a no questions asked 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't love it, just send it back for a refund minus shipping. And just go to airdoctorpro.com and use the promo code SLEEP, and you'll receive a 35% discount on the classic Air Doctor 3000 purifier. That's right, 35% off. But only if you go to airdoctorpro.com and use that promo code SLEEP. airdoctorpro.com and use the promo code SLEEP. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, we're talking episode 13, Last of the Time Lords, a three-parter. And a lot of stuff happens in this episode. I still haven't seen at some point we'll cover the holiday special. I haven't watched it at all, but we'll probably cover that in the holiday season, depending on after I watch it. So this will be our last piece of Doctor Who for a little while. Episode 13, Last of the Time Lords. Let's see my handwriting here. Earth for Space Country Music. 1 year later, sea flashlights, lanterns, Martha, nun's shower, all in black. Dialogue, check. Some of the work, a little listen on back on Valiant, ready to rise, never to Lord. Doctor's checked out. Martha Jones, come back home. Talker, sticking. Whisper Zone, one airspace, 24 hours, homes, work, Martha's, Frank, finger codes, Jason, Jack, Jack strapped up, big shot of PM. I have no idea if any of that is correct. Let's see, these are my friends. Right now they're doing a recap, Toblerone, what? Time Lord, flashback, paradox machine, meet at last, Doctor, stop it, lasers, but Benjamin Button, down you go, Toblerone balls, Martha's coming back, Earth, nope, and the open, and then the rest, last of Time Lords, Earth, shot of Earth. From space. So that's what I said. Maybe country music, a lantern. Martha's holding a lantern. Oh no, some dude is. Very handsome dude. Martha comes ashore in a boat. He's holding the lantern. You know who's holding the lantern for Martha is me in my heart. Be holding that one for a long time. Well, I guess not because after this episode. But Martha runs ashore. She's dressed in like special forces type gear. Very confident. What's your name? Tom Milligan. You're famous Martha Jones. How long since you last been in Britain? 365 days. Been a long year. What's the plan, Toucan Sam? Professor Doherty, we got to see her. Plant 7. I'll get you in there. What's this all for? What's important? Less you know, the better, Martha tells him. You're a legend. We depend on you. Oh, yeah? What does the legend say? You went and walked across America, Japan, the Atlantic, and didn't walk across that. Save the world, you will, they say. Martha says a little late, or somebody does. And we have the Valiant. The Doctor looks at a porthole with Saxon, ready to rise. Doctor's grouchy. Toblerones are outside. Anything, Doctor? Doctor has a blank look on his face. More Toblerones. Oh, they broke your heart, eh, Doctor? Now you know who they really are. They say Martha Jones has come back home. Oh, now why would she do that? Why is she coming home? Doctor says to leave her alone. What did you whisper to her? Got a flashback of the doctor whispering to Martha. What did you tell her? I have one thing to say to you. And he says, you know what it is? Probably I was going to say, I love you. Then he pushes the doctor. He's getting over the top. Rejoice, 24 hours till launch day. Weird, the doctor touched his leg. Oh, this is a symbol, I think. 3. The symbol is 3. Or W, or wait. Jack says, smell the sea air. Martha's sister's bringing him some food, cold mash to something. She's feeding Jack. She says 3. He winks. Then we see a statue of Saxon, a giant one. All these statues apparently are all over Earth, even in Mount Rushmore. And this came out in 2007. Think about that. Or 2008. Here we go. South coast of England. Everywhere there's these giant spaceship spaceports. Just salvaging everything to build this fleet of rockets. 100,000 rockets ready to launch the rest of the universe. And 1,000 different civilizations all around us. And you've been in space, the guy says. Martha goes, yeah, you got a problem with that? He goes, no, just holy cow. She goes, oh, by the way, I met Shakespeare, too. And I would be like, hey, Martha, I was already impressed. I didn't need to know your history. You're impressive on your own. Some spheres find him, the guy. They don't see Martha. He says, I'm just working here, getting ready for, I just want to see the rockets. They're so pretty. And he says, don't worry, I'm just a worker. And the Toblerone say, okay, get back to work then. He says, how come they didn't see you? She goes, I got this magic key with a thing on it. There's 15 satellites around the planet. There's a low-level field. That's why everybody thinks that dude was Harold Saxon. Guy goes, oh, Harold Saxon, I forgot about that. And Martha talks about how she's invisible or unnoticeable. And he goes, well, I can see you. And she goes, yeah, you wanted to. And he goes, I suppose I did. She goes, is there a Mrs. Mulligan? What about you? No, she goes, I used to be someone. Doctor gives her first kiss, which is dreamy, the first episode. Then it jumps to when he whispers to her and holds her hand. She goes, a long time ago, there was somebody. And they go, we got to find this Dr. Doherty. It's 3 o'clock. We got to get moving. And then Jack's got 15 minutes. He's tries to do a little move. I think this is a distraction. Martha's father's involved. Condition red. Everybody's running around. They give the doctor the laser thing, but he says, Saxon says, it's not going to work, dude. And then we got people running around. Oh, boy. Jack says, what's going on? Jack gets caught by them. Doctor, isomorphic controls doctor. What else we got? Jack, breakout, isomorphic, say sorry. And he makes Martha's mom and sister say sorry. Didn't you learn anything from Blessed Saint Martha? His wife's there. She's in a red dress. She puts his jacket on him. He goes, siding with the doctor's not a good idea. And they say, okay, get moving. And the doctor sits down. He goes, oh, doctor. He spins him around in a chair. I remember back in the day when the doctor was famous time warrior, battling axons and sea buddies and cascades, rifts, hoping that your dread would lift. Look at him now, grabbing laser screwdrivers. How did it come to this? He goes, oh, yeah, I did it. Ha, 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 ha. And the doctor says, listen, Saxon, you got to listen up. He goes, no, I'm talking. Great casting on Saxon, by the way. He goes, yep, this is the time for me, serving it hot. Resentment. And I got a message from Martha Jones, too. More memories. We got more birdcage Toblerones, action music. They sneak in. They see this professor. She goes, I'm busy. And she goes, I don't care who. They say, we need to talk to you. She's trying to fix a TV. She misses countdown. Both Dez's. What's the pleasant plural for Des? She does a little sleep with me. Desi, Desaline. She goes, there's a transmission coming up. We got to be from Saxon. We got to be ready. There it is. And Saxon says, salutations, everybody. This is the evening. We're getting ready to make a move with those rockets. There's whispers on Earth of a child walking the Earth giving you hope, but forget about it. How much hope do you got when you look at this doctor here? Say hello, Gandalf. He's not actually human. He's an alien. Greater lifespan. But I'm going to suspend his regen in place. We're going to have some organ music. And we're going to do something more, 900 more years or something, which, interestingly, again, I can't remember if Benjamin Button got younger or whatever, but this one, it kind of, he ages the doctor in a way that he becomes like another being, kind of like a little, I don't know, like a vinylmation figure, I guess would be the best way to describe it. Like a little action figure. And there's a lot of music. Down in years, the doctor shrinks, but he's still there in his clothes because he's a vinylmation figure. He's a clothed vinylmation figure, even though he shrunk in his clothes, kind of like the Hulk or something. Here's something I never thought about. The Hulk is a never nude. Who's the most famous never nude person? The Hulk. No, I mean, I'm sure we've seen the Hulk's butt before in the modern Marvel movies, maybe. Am I right or am I wrong? I don't know. Have we seen the Hulk nude? I mean, I'm not talking about in full nudity. Probably, I think we have. So I'm probably wrong. Saxon says, hey, Martha, did you get the message? Everybody's stunned. Martha, she smiles. They say, I'm sorry, Martha. She goes, the doctor's, he's still, he's a sentient vinylmation figure. Then they're talking about the Archangel Network as a weakness of Saxon, 15 satellites still transmitting. But that's why there's not much resistance, because it's a telepathic signal. It keeps people on edge. Old Baby Big Eyes, that's the name of the vinylmation figure. Let's see, keep people worried. There's taclophane. Martha goes, they're not taclophane, that's a made-up word, Toblerone. She goes, well, we got to figure this out. I got a CD-ROM here. If we look it up, we can catch one and open it up. Tesla coil in South Africa touched one of these, so she tries to load it up on a green screen computer. She's like, oh, I miss Bill Gates. And how'd you get this disc? I heard you were walking around Earth. What were you doing? Trying to find a way to stop the thing. Then we see another whisper of the doctor to her. And they say, oh, 1.1 gigawatts or megajoules will transfer it and shut down the one Toblerone, not them all. So let's get one of these Toblerone. Let's take a look in a book, like reading Rainbow. Then Tom Mulligan or whatever, he uses himself as BAI to the T. I got the readings. Get up on a sphere. He goes running. Do your job. Oh, there's 1.1 gigawatts. It's like a melon when you look at it up close, a metal melon, and not a bird cage. Like a melon. Like a miniature Death Star. You know what the Death Star looks like, but it's printed like the skin on a melon. It would have looked like a bird cage to me. I found what I thought was a bird cage is nothing but a melon. Metal melon. Then they get them, they go, okay, let's open this thing up and take a look, right? Like I said, in a book, but in a thing. Then we see Saxon and his wife. His wife, she doesn't seem fully, she seems like she's under the influence of something. I mean, other than Saxon. He tells the doctor's whole plan, we're going to open up a rift in space. They won't see us coming. And then we'll establish an empire. The doctor says, stop. He goes, no, we're making a new Gallifrey here in the heavens, and then it'll stop. His wife, she's like holding on to a chair. He talks about the drumming. I got to get the drumming to stop. A never-ending drum beat. Ever since I was a child, getting bugging me, you know, calling me to do stuff. Can't you hear it? And he goes, listen, it's right. Can't you hear the drumming right now? He's face to face with the doctor. The doctor holds on and glares at him. The doctor says, it's only you, dude. He goes, good. His wife turns around when the Toblerone come in. Tomorrow we're ready. Tomorrow we rise, never to fall. And the Saxon says, I'm doing it for these Toblerone. You love them too, remember? So very much. And we get this big reveal, right, of where the Toblerone are from. A slow reveal, parallel with Martha and the other two opening up the melon. We see that inside the melon is something. And then Saxon gives us a recap at the same time. Basically, let's see, you love them. The dome reveal, people on the run. The skies are made of diamonds. We were running to Utopia. And they said, what are you talking about, Martha? She goes, they're us. They're the humans from the future. Because it's like somebody remembers. They have a shared memory, though. Skies are made of diamonds. We remember Martha Jones being nice to us. We get a flashback of that kid on the LARP planet. Utopia. It didn't work out. Martha can't believe it. So this is her first time discovering this particular part, even though she has a plan. So it kind of ups the emotional stakes for us, for her and for us. She goes, they're humans from the future. And then Saxon talks about taking his wife to the future. Cute Time Lord and a human companion. See the stars, right, sweetheart? It was a little bit too much for her, though. Trillions of years into the future, end of the universe. And, it was the end. A little bit tough to handle. She says, so basically. And she goes, it's your fault, doctor. Or somebody says that. But then he goes, I worked it out with the paradox machine. And Martha works it out at the same time. Oh, fusing the coordinates. So the only place the TARDIS could go is this present time or 100 trillion years in the future where LARP planet and fake Utopia were. So the master... So Saxon had the TARDIS, and the only other place he could go was Utopia. So he found it, and he talks about how we're trying to manage the end of the universe. And as humans, still trying to adapt all the way. Even no diamonds. So there weren't any diamonds, and humans were kept adapting across the eons. Saxon says. And, universe going bye-bye. But then Saxon came and bring us home. That was pretty nice. But then the doctor says, but you're human and we're human. Why are you messing with us? And Martha goes, well, that's the paradox machine. Then we see Saxon working on it. My masterpiece. TARDIS, the living TARDIS can hold that thing and allow it to work. Past and the future to collide. The doctor goes, yeah, but this isn't good. It's changing history. The whole universe is history. And he goes, yeah, I'm a Time Lord, so I can do it, man. That's what I can do. And why come all this way? We got to go back. Then the other thing says we can go backwards in time, 100 trillion years, or forwards in time. I don't know. Time Lords and humans combined. Haven't you always dreamt of that, doctor? And then they say to the Toblerone, why were you messing with us really? And they say, well, it's fun. And Mulligan doesn't like that. Then Saxon says, humans, you're all about humans being the best. I don't agree. I strongly disagree. Even though then he holds hands with his wife and he says, good night, bye-bye. And they take one another in one another's arms and head off. And then Martha's kind of going over a recap with Mulligan and Professor Doherty. And then she goes, before I escaped, the doctor whispered something to me. And she has these flavored waters. She was Unit, Torchwood. Everybody was studying Time Lords in secret, and they made this flavored water. If you mix all 4 flavors, Time Lord will cease time. The clock on the Time Lord will stop ticking, and they'll no longer regenerate. because they're immortal otherwise, or they have regeneration. But 4 flavored waters. I only have 3 of the flavors, though. I have blue snow, red sunshine, and amber waves of grain. Got those in Budapest, London, San Diego. Well, Budapest, London, and San Diego. Now I got to go to London to get this one or something. And Beijing, I think, was the other one. They go, you can't go. That London's a mess right now. Ultimate Defense, Professor. They go, thanks a lot, by the way. Good work. Martha kisses the professor on the cheek. She watches after them. She's got 2 sweaters on. She goes, Martha, you sure you can do it? Gather all the flavored water and get the Saxon to drink it? You don't look like that convincing to me. Martha just gives her a look like, girl or professor, you don't get it. Very cool look. Then we see Martha Mulligan. Martha Mulligan. But I would have been jealous if she became Martha Mulligan. They go into apartment number 8 in London. It's full of people on lowdown. And these are people in the resistance, I think. But, oh, no, they're workers for the shipyards. They go, are you Martha Jones? Are you really going to feed flavored water or something to Saxon? Who is Saxon anyway? And everybody's got questions for Martha. She goes, no, I'll answer your questions. You want me to talk? I will. Then we see Professor Doherty. She goes into the secret TV, and she goes, I have priority 1. They go, state your intent. And she goes, I want to know about my son. And they go, state your intent. She goes, what's up with my son? And they go, state your intent. But we know she's going to leak out stuff about Martha Jones, information for Saxon concerning Martha Jones. Then Martha's talking about traveling over the world, New York, China, Europe, met people just like you everywhere across the world. But, Martha Jones isn't really the legend. There's another one. My name's not important. There's someone else. The person who sent me out here and told me to walk the earth, the doctor. And he's the one who saved you a bunch of times. You didn't even know he was there, but he did. He never stops. He never stays. He never asks to be thanked. But I've seen him. I know him. And I love him. Oh, boy, do I. And Mulligan closes his eyes. Martha goes, I know what he can do. And then somebody comes in. They say, Saxon just showed up. Hide Martha. So they put a jacket over Martha, and Saxon's walking around, wiggling his fingers. There's Toblerones. There's members of his elite team. And everybody's like, what are we going to do? There's shopping carts. He goes, Martha Jones, I know you're there. And there's industrial music playing, a lot of it. And, rain-soaked streets, spotlights, direct TV dishes. And he says, Martha, what would the doctor do? Martha's a little nervous. I don't know. She's like, I couldn't figure out if she closes her eyes. Her eyes are wide. She closes her eyes. She goes to put her necklace on. She does put it on. She holds it. And then she says, I'm going to go out there. And she says, excuse me, Tom Mulligan, or whatever your first name was, that Scooter forgot, probably at least on some level intentionally because he's jealous of you. She opens the door. She comes out, and then Saxon's like, oh, there she is. Good, great job. You don't have any flavored water that would pause me, do you? And he goes, why don't you put that bag down? Give it over here. He zaps the bag. I couldn't figure out, I don't see her necklace on her right now, but it could be under her clothes. But I don't think it becomes a thing anymore anyway. He zaps her bag with colored waters in there, flavored waters. He goes, now a good companion. Then Tom Mulligan comes out. He gets paused himself. He's thinking about pausing Martha, but he goes, "Oh, I should do it in front of the doctor, obviously. Obs. We should do this with the doctor." Martha just frowns and stares at him. He takes a big inhale. He goes, "Almost dawn, Martha." Looks around. Planet Earth, and all my Toblerone, going to get to work. Then we're back on ship. There's a PA. Citizens of Earth, get ready. Martha marches on. Her sister and her mother look on. Saxon's at the top of the bridge with his wife. Then we see Martha's dad. She's doing a slow walk. Jack kind of gives her a grimace. Martha looks at the doctor in a bird cage and says, he still has a pinstripe suit, but it's more like pajamas. And then Saxon's like, "Give me your teleport device, yo. Do your job." Oh, wait, this is way behind. She's hypnotic. And Saxon says, "Kneel before me. We're ready to launch the fleet. 200,000 ships across the universe." No, I can't tell if they have like some sort of black hole makers or they're full of Toblerone. Oh yeah, the black hole converters, or they're going through black holes. 180 seconds left. Get them moving. He goes, "I can't resist a ticking clock. Are you ready, Toblerone? We will fly. Oh boy." They're like orbiting Earth, 158 seconds. At zero mark, we'll start with Martha going big farming. That'll be my first big farm. Got anything to say? Martha just looks at him. Doctor's poor posture. Such a disappointment. Back in the day, you had companions you were in love with and that could absorb time vortices. He says, "Bow your head." A little early because you still have 1 hour and, or 1 minute, or no, 2 minutes left. No offense, Saxon, but he said, "This is a new order of the Time Lords." I guess he maybe has a 2-minute speech. From this day forward, Martha starts laughing at him. And Saxon's like, "What's so funny?" She goes, "Do you really believe that thing about flavored water in 4 parts? Come on. How could you have fallen for that?" He goes, "What do you mean?" The doctor goes, "Do you really think I would have asked Martha to do something like that? Sneaky flavored water?" Martha's like, "I knew Professor Doherty was going to tell on me. We knew about her son." So then we get a flashback. "Did you realize that?" And he goes, "Well, it doesn't matter. This is inevitable. I'm inevitable." And she goes, "I knew what I was doing. Travel. Do you know what I was doing? Just traveling the world, telling a story. No offense, just words. That's what the doctor told me. All alone, or on my own. Told my story. Told people to pass it on about how the doctor saved everything. I love him. Pass it on. Pass it on, Martha, heart doctor, so everyone would know." But Martha also loves the doctor, not just in that way. The doctor said, "Use the countdown. Think of one word at one specific time." And the dude Saxon's like, "Not going to happen. Now we're at 16 seconds. A prayer right across the world. One moment, one thought, one word. 15 satellites to amplify it." That gets Saxon's attention. Jack says, "Archangel, baby. Telepathic field. We're all fused. Same thing, same time." And that word is doctor. And the countdown goes, and the doctor starts to get these cosmic powers. But Saxon's like, "Oh, no, 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 no." We get a series of shots. Jack, Martha's mom, Martha's sister, all saying doctor, the whole world, Martha's dad, he's saying stop it. Even his wife says doctor, doctor. Everybody's chanting. People are going out into town squares. The doctor's returning. I guess now he's Benjamin buttoning. He's buttoning up his Benjamin, as they say. He's not, it sounds like wrong. Button up the old Benjamin. That means be quiet, Scoots. So the doctor says one thing you can't do as he becomes full You can't stop people from thinking. Jack laughs. The doctor grows. He's translucent a little bit, or glowing. Saxon's stunned. Everybody's smiling. Martha starts to hug her family. Wind starts blowing. Tries to laser the doctor. The doctor says, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Piece of paper blows in Jack's face. The doctor takes away his laser beams. Says, I don't hate laser beams. I just don't like how when you disuse them. Saxon says, "This isn't fair. You can't do this." And the doctor says, "You know what happens now? I got to hug you and love you. Just like me." This reminds me. I say, no, please. He goes, "You wouldn't listen. And now you know what I'm going to say." And Saxon crawls back. There's a part of me. There's a Saxon inside me. Holy moly. And he curls up and the doctor embraces him. He says, "I forgive you." And Saxon's still like, "Protect the paradox, protect the paradox, protect the paradox," the Toblerones say. And he says, "Captain Jack, go to the paradox machine." And then Saxon tries to escape, by teleport. Doctor comes, there's lightning. He says, now it ends. The rockets are getting ready to launch. So he still thinks it's inevitable, but Jack's running. Martha and her sister and her mom are trying to steer the ship. We got Valiant control it. Got black hole converters inside every ship. Maybe I'll just open up those and Earth will go, I don't know what'll happen. Saxon thinks he does. Jack, there's Toblerone blocking the TARDIS, but Jack outwits and, he outdances them with some other people that used to work for Saxon. But Jack, he doesn't even have to regenerate. He doesn't have to respawn. Then we can see a lot of Toblerone in the sky, a flurry of Toblerone. And then the doctor says, "Listen, all you do is talk and talk and talk. But all these years, he goes, I have the secret, man. I know you." He goes, "You don't want to get rid of these ships. That's the one thing you can't do." And Saxon's actually thoughtful and quiet. Doctor reaches out his hand. He says, "Give it over, man. You can't detime a time. Time Lords can't detime." Then we have Jack on the TARDIS. He takes out the paradox machine. And you know what happens when you take out a paradox machine? You only have one dock. I don't know if that's quite, but I love that paradox joke. What do you call two docks on top of one another that look like one dock, but they're actually two docks, but one's submerged so you don't know it's there? Paradox. It's still a paradox. Everyone get down, time's reversing, a lot of wind, a lot of rocking, a lot of smiling. Doctor and Martha actually are gleeful. Or the doctor transports back with Saxon, or Saxon transports back. And we get Earth, wind blowing on Earth, clouds, dust, people falling down because they say, hey, when time reverses, it gets shaky. My children protect the paradox. Jack on the run. 6 billion spheres. Just checking my notes here. Spheres coming in. Face off. I know you. We've got the moon going and the Earth going backwards or forwards. I'm not even sure. And finally, the Valiant slows down and parks on a kind of foggy day. We see the bridge covered in papers. You'd think they would have had their papers more organized. We see Earth back to normal Earth stuff, human being human, traffic, walking, biking, eyes closed. Oh, this is coming up. Only 2 left. 2 minutes past 8. One day they call. They say, "Where's that president-elect of the U.S.?" And they say, "Well, we got to call you back. We'll call you back. Everything else is normal. Everything, that's what happened. A lot of the stuff didn't happen. You're all going to remember it, unfortunately, I think. Spheres are back at the end of the world, or to whatever. We're at the eye of the storm. The doctor introduces himself to Martha's dad. Saxon tries to run off a helicarrier, which is not a good idea, but Jack catches him. What do we do with this one? People have strong feelings about him, especially as Martha's family, but the doctor says, you're my responsibility from now on. You're the only other Time Lord. Just the two of us. We can make it if you try. Can't trust him. Yeah, no, he's got to be on the TARDIS, though. So you're going to keep me? And he goes, if I have to, that's maybe what we existed to do. Time to change. Maybe I've been wandering too long. So maybe this was a cliffhanger when it came out. Was there going to be another season? I don't know. But then it's actually his wife, who still has a kind of dazed look, who says maybe if Saxon should go like a butterfly in the sky and kiss, whatever. So he goes, the doctor holds him. He goes, just regenerate, man. Do a regen. And he goes, I guess you don't know me so well because I won't, I can't, and I will, and I won't. And the doctor goes, come on. And he goes, no. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life with you, dude. The doctor gets a tear because, he goes, I'm going to the big TARDIS in the inside of wherever it may be. Within a fold of, some sort of thingamajig that's beyond Scoots' time vortices. We're the only two left. The doctor says, come on, please. So he goes, come on, regen, man, regen. And Saxon laughs. Saxon's got very perfect teeth. Can't do it. I win. Bye-bye. As NSYNC or Backstreet said, ain't no lie, baby. Bye, bye, bye. He goes, you think the drumming's going to stop, though? We get a flashback, moon vortex in his kid's eye. Doctor's really grimacing. And Saxon takes a nappy poo. And the doctor holds him and rocks back and forth. Tries to comfort himself. Everybody else is looking on. Martha and her mom are holding each other. Martha's dad's holding Martha's sister. Jack looks up in the sky or to the roof of the... So I wonder how this thing's assembled. We have the doctor. He lights a candle for Saxon, or a few candles, so GOT style. I said, I haven't seen that many candles since, what's his name? Stannis Baratheon. And actually, that wasn't Stannis, because that was and I say, oh, yeah, that was when I lost all respect for Stannis Baratheon. This is different. Doctor's got his duster on, suit buttoned up, hair looking spectacular. He walks off a little bit thoughtful and unhappy, I would even say. And we see the candles. The candles didn't burn out long ago. They eventually will, and the legend maybe. I think then we're back at the waterfront, and everybody already forgot about the doctor they're talking about. Jack says, well, I got to get back to work. Doctor says, come with me. He goes, no, I've been on a plane for a year that never was. I got a team here and I got to get to work. Responsibility, doctor. Doctor says, okay, defend an earth. I respect it. And he goes, I need my thing. And the doctor says, I can't have you having a time traveler. You could go anywhere twice to apologize. And Jack says, what about me? Am I going to live forever? And the doctor says, I don't know. I can't do anything about it. So I don't know. You're impossible. Then Jack gives him and Martha a salute, like he gives him in a wink. They give him a nice, he goes off and he goes, what about aging, He goes, if I can't, he goes, I'm getting gray hair and stuff. He goes, what happens? And the doctor goes, I don't know, man. I don't know. And he goes, okay, I'm just being vain. He goes, I used to be a poster boy at Beauchene Peninsula. Look magazine or something. Because this is a tiny place. I don't know if it was in the UP, but because Time Agency first signed me up. They called me the face of Beau. And Dr. Martha get an OMG face. He goes, I'll see you. And they go, not if we see you first. They didn't say that, but they go, no way. And it can't be. They're both stunned. Even the doctor, no, definitely not. Martha laughs, touches the doctor's forearm. And then we go to Martha's parents' house. So it looks like her parents may be reunited. Her brother's there. We're looking in through the window through the doctor, who now has a blue Navy suit on. Martha's mom stares out at him, kind of gives him a smile frown. I guess more she feels sorry for him. Martha gives a smile frown to her mom. Doctor goes on, throws his jacket on the TARDIS. His shoes match his shirt and his tie. Puts his hands in his pockets. And he says, we see he's still got his regen. Kicks his feet up on his launch chair. Martha comes on. The doctor goes, okay, let's hit the open road. Let's fire it up. Meta Sigma Folio, Skyle like oil on water, fancy a look back in time, Charles II, Henry VIII. What about Agatha Christie? I'd love to meet her. And that'd be a blast. But Martha says nothing. And he goes, okay. And she goes, yep, can't go. The doctor goes, yeah. She goes, all those years, I trained to be a doctor. Martha says this. And now I have people I can help. They went through a lot, my family. I can't leave them behind. Doctor's like, yeah. And he just kind of sighs. Then he smiles, a bigger smile, a crafty smile. He says, thank you. Martha doesn't quite return his smile. They hug. I've gotten this hug, but I was not, I was getting hugged by Martha, but she was telling me what her hug was saying to the doctor. And she goes, I'm not second best. I'm good. I spent all this time with you thinking that. He doesn't even get that. She smiles big. She pokes him. And he goes, you're going to be all right. All right, then. And she kisses him on the cheek. Barely. Then she goes to leave once. She takes a big sigh, starts to walk off. The doctor thinks about it, but then Martha turns back. And there's a nice pause to wonder. But I love this extra scene. She goes, listen, my friend Vicky had this thing with this guy, Sean. They all lived together and she liked him, but he didn't even know she existed. And she spent all day long thinking about him. Doctor goes, is this going anywhere? He never looked at her twice, Martha says. Then she turns her head. He liked her as a friend, but that was it. Doctor puts his head down. And she wasted her time pining after him. Relatable? Oh, yeah. And, I told her again and again and again, I said, get out of there. And the doctor gives us a faint nod. And so Martha goes, this is me getting out. Oh, boy. And then she gives him the phone, though. She goes, by the way, this doesn't mean I need a time machine to go back to 2007 right now and bump into Martha when she comes out of TARDIS. And doctor says, got it. She turns and walks off. He looks over her shoulder. I'll see you again, mister. Doctor smiles. And Martha opens the door, goes out, stops again, pauses. And she's happy. She smiles. And the doctor gives a thoughtful look, sits on the control panel of the TARDIS, breathes and says, then Martha goes in. Her mom's like, Martha's back. Doctor fires up the TARDIS or starts, warming it up, get some breeze. We get some TARDIS sounds. He thinks about the candles. He's, and then we see this weird ring thing, which I guess I didn't realize the Time Lord was wearing a ring. But apparently he was or something. I don't know. That'll come in handy one day. I don't know when. Doctor starts pressing buttons, and then we hear a horn, and we see a ship. And this one, I said, it doesn't look like that ship, but we see that it is the Titanic. The doctor says, what, over and over again. What? Bell rings. He sees that's the Titanic. He says, what? and then the episode ends with, come to the holiday special, which we'll do at some point. But yeah, that's the end of the episode. And, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I did. Who? Doctor Who. The Doctor. Thanks, everybody. Good night. I just want to thank some of the people that signed up for our newsletter to support people experiencing homelessness. And you could sign up if you want to be a part of, give free live streams of the live shows, and be a part of our community. I really appreciate everybody that signed up. I want to thank TS, Cher, and Heidi. Thanks, and good night. Crosby, Shirley, and Path. Thanks, and good night. Karen, Rita, and Nancy. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Amy, Kathleen, and Julie. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Rachel, Chelsea, and Megan. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Jamie, MS, and Aisha. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Susie, Ricky, and Mary. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Sarah, Jan, and Meredith. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Carol, Philip, and Carl. Thanks, and good night. Susan, Lee, and Johnny. Thanks, and good night. Abna, Sean, and Catherine. Thank you, thanks, and good night. John, Ada, and Emma. Thank you, thanks, good night. Stephen, Kimmy, and Penny. Thank you, thanks, good night. Steve, Ann, and Humphrey. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, and good night. Couldn't do much any of this without all your support. Those of you that are supporting the community around the show, sleepwithmepodcast.com/midnightmission, sleepwithmepodcast.com/midnightmission. And those of you that make the podcast possible to be produced and come out twice a week, our patrons, our supporters, and the people that support the sponsors. And yeah, the best free way to help the shows be a part of our community, sleepwithmepodcast.com/midnightmission, or just spread the word about podcasting in general. Thank you so much for listening. There's plenty more episodes. Because of these actual Talk You In sponsors and people that support the sponsors, we were able to grow. We're close to, I think, 500 free episodes. So if you need another episode, it's ready to go for you. Thanks so much and good night.